Okay, hey, what's up, guys? This is Zobi1018, and
Pokegeist 1313.
we are bringing the box review. What's the name of the box again?
Abyss Encounters.
Abyss Encounters, yeah. So yeah, we will be reviewing every single card, and hopefully you guys figure out what cards you want for this box, what cards you don't. This is going to be a discussion style format, so you'll get the opinions of both of us, and honestly, I mean, we're going to give a card a star rating. I mean, the rating should be accurate, but you should definitely use your own opinion. Like if you like Archfiends, even if we say Archfiends suck, if you like their playstyle, just go for them. Um, Anyways, without further ado, let's just get started with the first card, Slate Warrior. Um, so I guess I'll take the reins here. If you're a newer player, this card, crap, I cannot think right now. Okay, so if you're a newer player, this is probably going to be pretty viable considering the fact that I've seen a lot of players just throw together a bunch of random 1900 monsters. If you're, does Yemi target fiends or is it just spellcasters?
It targets fiends.
Okay, so if you're running like a Yami deck, this would definitely work. I mean, it's 1900. It nerfs. It's like kind of like what's his face, the flip effect guy. It's like Reaver or something like that.
I
Uh,
have no idea.
I forgot. It flips and discards a card for your hand. It's kind of like that card, except for in fact, it's almost exactly the same as that card.
Oh,
So
Rigorous Reaver. I know who you're talking
Rigorous
about
Reaver,
now.
yeah, yeah. And it's almost the exact same thing. Probably a little less strong, but I mean, if you're gonna be, it's more relevant to buy newer packs than older packs, to be honest. So, if you're a newer player, I would give this, in the relativeness of a newer player, this is a good card. But I mean, our primary focus here is the meta, and to be honest, this thing isn't doing a whole lot for high tier meta decks. So I'm gonna say it's 1.5, just because newer players can't use it. What do you think?
I give this a 2. The typing's really weird. It's a fiend, but it's like a
A wind.
wind.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
And it's an okay, but it's a flip effect and it's got like 400
Oh
defense.
yeah, no. That flip effect's
So
never triggering.
I I mean, granted, it's kind of like a boosted Archfiend of Guilford because it attacks the defense as well.
Uh-huh.
So, it it just depends. I personally wouldn't run it, but I could probably see some vanilla beatdown decks using this thing.
Yeah. Alright, well. So this is roughly 1.5 stars. Moving on. Salvage. Target 2 water, 1500 less attack in your graveyard. Add those to your hand. It's basically a Dark Eruption for water monsters. If you're running Gishkis, which are the big thing in this expansion, this is probably going to get played at least at 1. Most likely 0, because, I mean, this meta is a lot faster. The Duel Links meta is a lot faster than the TCG meta. Um, but I mean, it allows you to quickly reload your Gishki rituals than any other sort of like water deck that consumes resources very quickly. What do you think?
I'm giving this one a 2 as well
Oh, actually, I was going to give it a
because
3. Yeah,
I
I
I
should have
I
placed it.
I, I give this a 2 because the problem with Gishkis probably need that recycling ability because I don't know personally if the Gishkis themselves have any recyclability,
Yeah, I haven't read all of them.
but
I know in the TCG meta, when Gishis were relevant, they cycled like crazy. So it, as you just literally said, if they don't have their own way of recycling, then yeah, I can see this being better.
even then it's like it's really kind of specific, designation 1500 or less, and even then it's like outside Gishkis it's a Mako deck, but even then I don't think Mako decks really run this that often. So I'm giving it 2. Maybe good for Gishkis. You might see it in Mako, but I don't see it being that good.
Yeah, Dark Eruption, I believe, was also 1500 less attack, and when Blackwings were relevant, they played them all the time because they just, similar to Gishkis, they spam Synchro monsters. I mean, Gishkis spam Ritual, but you get the point. So I mean, I don't see that limit being too bad, especially since I'm pretty sure all the non-ritual Gishkis have 1500 less attack. But yeah, all right. Moving on. Real quick. This is roughly 2.5 stars. Moving on to Abyss Soldier. Once returned, you can discard one water monster, target one card in the field, return it to the hand. Uh, this is a tough effect to evaluate because it does have immediate impact, but the requirements to activate the effect are a little specific. Like it's not just discard one card; it has to be a water monster. And bouncing cards can be good, but with Cyber Angels running rampant, is bouncing a Cyber Angel really going to do much? Probably not. Uh, I mean, to be realistic, if you're running a meta deck, this card's not going to be that great. So I can't see this being put into Gishki. Let's just assume Gishki's going to become a really good meta deck for water attribute. I just don't see this getting played in Gishki. What do you think?
I'm giving this. I'm tempted to give it a 3, but I'm just gonna go in between 2.5
All right, yeah,
because because I don't see. Mostly, this is gonna be like Mako decks. Mostly where I'm coming from with this.
uh huh.
There's some monsters like Needle Sunfish or whatever. You know,
Oh
because
yeah, that's actually an interesting combo.
because you just send it to the graveyard, they lose their attack, and you could send like a wall disruption or something back to their hand. So it's
I didn't realize it was any card on the field. Actually, that might make me put. I'll bump it up to two. It's any card. I thought it was a monster card.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
actually, huh? This might actually get some play. It's kind of like a mini Sergeant Electro. Still not as good as Sergeant Electro, but
so I give it a 2.5 because as you mentioned, it's not gonna be super strong, and I think it's gonna get more play than Salvage. I think it's okay. It's a little
yeah,
better, but
I don't think you'd.
not broken.
Yeah, I don't think you'd run Salvage at deck for this card because this is obviously 1800. I believe Salvage is more for like decks that want to run small pieces that fuse together into bigger pieces. This card would probably end up being ran in a big beatdown deck that just runs big monsters that are 1800.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Okay. So, continuing on, Tides of the Brethren pay 2,000 life points. Target one level 4 lower monster you control. For rest of the turn, after this effect resolves, you cannot special summon monsters. Also, special summon two monsters from your deck with the same type attribute level as that monster, but with different names. You cannot conduct a battle phase. Ooh, man, this is a complicated card. I mean, let's see. You cannot conduct your battle phase. So the biggest thing I take with this is like a fusion ish deck. Or like synchro, obviously synchro doesn't exist, XCs doesn't exist, but let's see, heroes can't do this because they're all different attributes. Are there any
they.
same attribute fusion decks out there that require multiple small pieces, level
I'm
four or
I'm not
lowers?
I'm not really seeing much of fusion deck as you are. I'm seeing this more of a Glad Beast kind of card.
Well, it has to
I
have the
see.
same attribute. Glad beasts actually have different attributes,
Does it have to be?
and
Oh
they
yeah,
actually
it
also
is.
have different types as well. Yeah, same type, attribute, and level.
Like this card is just really weird, and I'm just not able to think of any really decks that could really utilize this all
I
that
mean,
well.
if it's like a feed, or like okay, so we were talking about earlier, like if you're a newer player, you're probably using like a feed beatdown deck or a dragon beatdown. I can see this because like most feeds are dark attribute, so if you're running a dark attribute feed deck, you could drop Vorse Raider, which I believe is a dark attribute feed, and then summon Octoclops, which is also a dark attribute feed, and maybe something else. I don't know what else would have good stats, but I mean regardless that you flood the field with cards that could be relatively good, you're paying 2,000 life points. Which again, I mean, I would pay 2,000 life points to instant summon a fusion monster, but I feel like there's not a strong enough combo in the game right now. If synchros come out, or if there's a fusion deck like Shadows would be able to abuse the hell out of this card. To be honest, uh, so I think it just depends on the meta. Right now, I'm not seeing it, but I'm gonna give it 1.5 because it does have the potential to be good in the right meta.
Yeah, I'm giving it the same. I just can't think of anything that's really useful with it right now.
Yeah. All right. Whoops. Next card, Gishki Chain. When this card's normal summon, look at the top three cards of your deck. You could reveal one ritual monster or ritual spell among them, add them to your hand. Also, after that, place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. So first impression is level 4, 1800, pretty decent. This is kind of like Crystal Seer, but a little bit better. I still think Manju and Senju, which I believe it's just Senju's the only one that's in the game right now, right? So it'd be like Senju
Yeah,
Sonic Bird. Senju Sonic Bird would still be a little bit more direct, but You are running a 20 card deck, so the odds of actually searching a ritual monster, ritual spell with this card are in pretty high, to be honest, depending on your deck's distribution. So I would actually give this a 3-ish. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 3. Or actually, maybe 3 to 4, because this is basically a Senju or Sonic Bird.
Yeah, I'm giving it about the same rank because one thing I do like about it is that it's not a specific. You could pretty much splash this in anything. Mass Beast,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
if even like I hate to say it, but Cyber Angels could probably use this card as well
Uh,
because
I mean,
because granted, it's like, oh, they have Sonic Bird or Senju. This actually has more attack than they do. Even though not by much, it's a little bit stronger.
yeah, I mean the other thing is, well, the thing I'm kind of perplexed about would be that so Songbird searches specifically the spell, right? Is Songbird the spell or is Songbird the monster? I don't remember. Either way,
It's
let's just say Songbird's the spell for now, and Senju is the monster. They search for a specific one, which could be a plus or a minus. Like it could be a plus in the sense that you know exactly what you're getting. You know you're exactly getting a monster Senju. Whereas it can also be a minus because if all you have is the monster and you really need the spell, then that's the problem. With this card, it has the potential to get to either allow you to get, like, let's just say you reveal a spell and a monster at the same time. You get a choice. This card also eliminates that choice as well because it could also just be like add a random spell or random monster to your hand. Like, so there's a little bit of randomness that goes on here that I don't like, but at the same time, I see it. I see it being more played in Gishki because I believe the ritual spell actually requires Gishki or water attribute monsters at the very least to be tributed. Uh, I mean, we went on.
yeah.
We're going on a little bit too much on this card. So do you have anything else to say, or do you want to move on to the next card?
I just see it getting more play than Sonic Bird and Senju, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a little. That requires a lot of testing to figure out, but
Yeah.
it's definitely a possibility. So yeah, this is if you're running Gishki for sure. This is gonna be a. You're probably gonna just run 3 copies of this. All right. Mystic Piper. When this card came out in the TCG, people were going crazy for it. um, So let's see. Tribute this card to draw and reveal one card. If that card is a level 1 monster, the effect of Mystic Piper, or draw one more card. So, um, first impression is I don't know many decks that actually run level. What's level Cyber Petite Angel? Is it level 2 or is it actually level 1?
I think it's level 3.
Oh, yeah, even higher. So, even if Cyber Petite Angel was level 1, let's just assume it is, the Mystic Piper's still not going to be playing that deck. Like, they're already like having issues trying to keep like 20 cards in Cyber Angels. I don't know what low level decks there really are that run level 1 monsters. Uh, I mean, he's basically consume your normal summon for the turn, draw a card, which is pretty bad if you think about it, because it leaves you wide open. Like, honestly, a card that says when this card's destroyed in battle, draw a card is actually a little bit better than this. Because it at least defends your life points, where as you have to tribute him. Um, yeah, I don't see currently like in the synchro meta. There was a lot of level 1s that people played with to synchro summon, but in the current meta, I don't see him. I also don't see him becoming a bamboo engine, just because even if you run 3 copies of him, the bamboo engine was a little bit looser in how you could activate it. Like you could use cards that were already in your hand, and you also drew 2 cards. So I see this being just 1 star for now.
Yeah, to me, I'm giving this thing a 1. This thing is like a huge neg toward yourself. First off, you're wasting your normal summon when you could have used something else. They
Exactly.
have to they have to tribute it, leaving yourself wide open to draw a card. Sure, you got that draw power, but they have to reveal it. So now you're revealing resources to your opponent. So let's say it's a Sphere Karibo, because that's probably the most common card you're gonna get, right? So
Uh-huh.
let's say you draw Sphere Karibo. Your opponent now knows you have a Sphere Karibo. Sure, you draw another card, but now they're gonna go on the defensive, or maybe just try and hit your hand to get rid of that Sphere Karibo. I just don't
Yeah.
see a lot. I just don't see a lot of
They
pluses
can't.
with this card.
Yeah. I mean, Spirit Karibo actually, I forgot about. It does improve my status card, but it doesn't improve it enough to increase the rating. Like,
No, absolutely not.
I don't know. It just feels in a meta where your normal summon matters. Like the other thing about the secret meta was that your normal summon wasn't that important because there's a lot of cards that could just special summon. 1 for 1 is actually in the game, so there could be some interesting 1 for 1 shenanigans, but even then, it's still just not strong enough to justify using a card like this. So yeah, 1 star for now, possibly good in the future, but mostly 1 stars for now. All right, Imagishi Levianima. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Levianima, probably. Um, so, anyways, when you ritual summon this card, or you have to ritual summon this card if a Gishki ritual card was card declares an attack, draw 1 card. If you do, reveal it. If it was a Gishki monster, look at 1 card in your randoms. Look at 1 random card in your opponent's hand. Looking at cards in your opponent's hand, I guess that's fine. You can kind of predict what your opponent's going to do. But I mean, you can predict what your opponent's going to do even without looking at their hand just by knowing what their deck is. So you see Cyber Angels, you can kind of like gauge that their hand currently does not have a ritual spell in it because they didn't use it, or Um, but I think the big thing to take from this card is he's a 2700 beater, which is bigger than most things in the current meta aside from Dakini and Ancient Gear Golem. So I like to run cards that have impactful effects rather than just good stats, which is why Dakini is just ridiculously overpowered because it has both. But also, well, I just thought about it. You also draw a card every time it attacks, so yeah, you know what? I'm giving this like 4.5 stars because I just realized that you do draw a card every time he attacks. So it's a big beater that draws you cards. That's you can't go wrong with that. What do you think?
For me, I'm giving this a 4
Uh,
because first off, you're clearly gonna play this in Gishkis, and if because
yeah,
at this point you don't care if you reveal your cards.
yeah, no.
So first you draw.
Uh-huh.
That's always nice. You always get to your resources, and then even if you reveal it, your opponent's like, oh well, that's just gonna be for like another ritual summon.
Yeah,
So it's like, it doesn't matter because if your opponent sees you're playing a Gishki monster, they know you're playing Gishki, so it really doesn't matter.
exactly. Um,
And now
I
it
mean, they
is,
probably have already used Floodgate if, like, they aren't going to hold off on a Floodgate. Like, they're going to set that turn 1, so, you know.
what stops it from being like a 5 is. mm,
It's just not. I mean, I'm comparing this to Dakini in the back of my mind. Because Dakini does everything. Dakini destroys a card on the field. It recycles your resources. Its attack could potentially be higher than 2700. So in the light, like if Dakini did exist, I would probably rate this 5 stars. But like in the back of our minds, we're relating this to Dakini. It's like this card doesn't look as impactful, but it's still a really good card. It draws cards and it has good stats. I mean,
yeah.
people played Red Eyes, and Red Eyes is just a vanilla. Obviously, you could play Champion's Vigilance alongside it, but which is a really, really good card. That's Solemn Judgment, essentially, but
And
without
that's
the
and
life
that's what
points.
and that's why it's at 1.
Yeah, but I mean, people still play even after it went down to 1. People still played Red Eyes just because Red Eyes is 2400. So it's a big monster. 27 beats Red Eyes any day. The only thing you really have to worry about is Dakini. But I mean, if you're playing Cyber Angels, you probably lost anyways. All right. So yeah, this is a 4.5 starish card. Moving on. Archfiend Emperor, the First Lord of Horror. Wow, this says a lot of text. Okay, you can normal summon this card without tributing, but its original attack and defense become halved. If it's summoned this way, it is destroyed during the end phase. You cannot special summon any monsters like fiend type monsters. Once per turn, you can banish 1 Archfiend from your hand or graveyard, then target 1 card of the field and destroy it. So, what I'm getting is, if you're patient enough, you can play this as a 3000 beater that destroys cards once per turn. I mean, you're probably always going to have Archfiends in your graveyard, like 9% time. And what's really cool is he has the option of, like, let's just say that they have a Takini on the field and you really need to kill it, then he has the option of coming out without you sacrificing. Um, So, before I actually give this a rating, I just want to preface that I haven't read a whole lot of the Archfiend cards, so I don't know how well they do. But let's just assume Archfiend cards are a good archetype. I would say as a card within the archetype, he's a 4 star card. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm giving him roughly a 4 as well because I mean clearly he's like the big boss monster of Archfiends,
Uh huh.
but even if you don't tribute summon him, like looking back at it, I'm thinking like you could probably do this with like Ties of the Brethren now, because you could easily get like three monsters on the field, and he's like what, level 8, something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
He just and he requires two, so you just pop him on the field. But even then, it's like you did mention like Cyber Angels. You could just normal summon this thing, use his effect, destroy Dakini, and he goes away. Whatever. You got rid of a problem.
Yeah.
So he's easy to use and he's got a good effect. So that's a very solid
Yeah.
card in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I was gonna say the flexibility on him is really good. So yeah, I would say 4 stars if Archfiends are good. I mean, he's 4 stars in the light of Archfiend. I don't know how good Archfiends are. So yeah. Legendary Fisherman 2. Do you want to take the lead here?
Yeah. So this card is kind of interesting. So think of him as like an upgraded legendary fisherman.
Uh huh.
So so he's essentially another legendary fisherman, but it doesn't have the effect where he's unaffected by spells. He's affected by monsters while Umi's on the field. And then if he's destroyed, whether by card effect or on your opponent's card effect, I should clarify, or by battle, you can add a level 7 water monster from your deck to your hand. Maybe Water Dragon if you're playing some weird Bastion deck. He's
Yeah.
he, he's a relatively good card. There's actually another card later in the list that actually searches out a better Umi, a legendary ocean. There's another card that searches
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah. I read that.
So that makes him like it makes him level 4. He's a normal summon, 2400 attack monster. So
What's the
in a
level 7 you would target with this guy?
uh I think Water Dragon. I can't think of very many level
Okay. Well, we'll
7.
we'll we'll th- we'll think about that when we come to it. But yeah, so I mean, you add a card for your deck to your hand. It's a presumably good card, right? Like it's level 7, which actually it's level 5 technically if you're running Legendary Ocean, right?
No, it actually becomes level 4.
Oh, 4. Oh, it's 1 star. 1 star. Gotcha. No, no, I'm talking about the card that you searched, the level 7 card.
Well, yeah.
So it's 1 star. So it's level 6. So it's still only one tribute. Um, I
But
mean, he's a good card.
the only issue I see is that there's not many targets. Like off the top of my head, I can think of like Fortress Whale, and that's like it.
Yeah, yeah.
And even then, no one plays that.
Yeah. Um, well, I think this is cool because if you do end up running a legendary ocean deck or Yumi deck, this is a Red Eyes Black Dragon. It just comes out at 2400 attack. Um, and it can't be. It's a Red Eyes Black Dragon that can't be targeted by what is it? Other monster effects. So it's only
Yeah.
monster effects. It's not spell effects, which is kind of a bummer to be honest. But uh,
For for me, and I'm just saying this, I'm giving this guy a 4
yeah,
because because before then there were no really decent tribute monsters like Legendary Fisherman. He's okay, but it's like your opponent can attack you directly. That stinks. And he's unaffected by spell effects. Okay, but they could easily just hit you with trap effects. So it's like,
yeah, I like this card. I mean, I would say it's more of a 3. I like it because it's if you're running a legendary ocean deck, which I think is highly viable from the cards in this expansion. Um, this
I just
card is basically just a level 4 Red Eyes Black Dragon.
like I
I
give
still
it
don't know what you searched, but even without that, it's still a good
like
card.
I give this a 4 because yes, he's not immune to card effects, but he has an effect that goes off if he's destroyed by a card effect.
Yeah, and actually, he is technically a counter to Nikiti. I mean, if he could get his attack up high enough to protect him from Nikiti, that's actually
Yeah,
no. Wait, this card is yeah, it's unaffected by other monster effects. So yeah, it is immune to Nikiti's effect, I believe.
yeah,
Actually, Nikiti's a little weird because it says send a card from your field to the graveyard, but I'm pretty sure that he'd still be immune to it.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, this is roughly a 3.5 star card. Moving on, Water Dragon Cluster. Oh boy. No one plays Water Dragon first of all, so I already have a bad impression of this card. But let's see what it does. Can be normal summon, special summon the effect of a bonding spell or trap. This card is special summoned. You could activate the effect. Effect monsters your opponent currently controls cannot activate their effects after. Blah, blah, sorry. Cannot activate their effects for the rest of the turn. Also change their attack to 0 until the end of the turn. You can treat this card special summon 2 Water Dragon. Oh, holy shit! You're summoning 2 Water Dragons with this. In defense position, though. So I know that there's a few other cards such as Bonding H2O, but Bonding H2O is already a really hard card to use. I don't know how easy the other bonding cards are to use. Its effect is incredibly good though. When it's special summoned, which is basically when it's summoned, you nullify the effects of all monsters on your opponent's field, which I don't think is actually. I don't think there's any continuous effects that are a threat in this game. Like, I guess
Mm,
negating a Gladiator Beast effect just in case your opponent uses what you would call it, impenetrable attack, so that they can't swap out during the end phase. I guess that works. Other than that, there's no cards that really have a threatening passive effect, but even then, it's still just a good effect. Also, you're changing their attack to 0, so you're guaranteed to run over something this turn, right?
what about Dakini? Doesn't the that one effect you can?
Oh, it's by a different monster's effect, so negating Decay doesn't make it lose its attack points. Yeah, sadly.
Well, no, those effects don't correlate. You negate their effects, then
Yeah,
you
yeah. Then
can.
you set it to 0. So yeah, Decay's gonna be set to 0 anyways. I'm just saying its effect, negate its effect doesn't do anything because also, if you're thinking about the ritual spell is the thing that keeps Decay from being destroyed by battle.
Yeah.
Uh,
So so and honestly, no one's playing Water Dragon nowadays.
no.
I'm gonna give this a 2.5.
Yeah. I'm gonna
And
give it a 1.5 because
I
it
give it
looks cool. Like the card's strong, but I don't know how easy it is to bond, and I doubt there's anything easier than bonding H2O. Uh,
I give it 2.5 because in water decks this whole box is pretty much a water heavy kind of deck. So you might see Mako making it to Legend or King of Games or whatever.
I don't think Mako would play this because I mean the bonding cards require the little dinosaur guys, the
It's
like Hydrogeddon, Oxygeddon.
yeah it's hard to get off, but if you get off,
I mean
I
it's a
think it's
strong
well
card.
worth it. So
I
but
actually sorry. I actually played the W or the ABC Dragon Buster guy. This effect is kind of like his, where if if Takiti targets him, you can quickly summon the two water dragons. Although Takiti is just going to run over the water dragons anyways. But I mean, the quick effect is all. I don't know. Its effect is strong. It just depends on how easy it is to summon. Which I, if we look at the bonding card and it becomes really easy to summon, which I highly doubt, then maybe I'll buff boost its star level. But it's like
yeah
shooting Star Dragon. It has a really good effect, but it's just too hard to summon.
yeah
All right, moving on. Do you want to take the lead here?
yeah here we go because this was one of the first cards I actually read. So this has the standard, you pay your life point cost or whatever. That's what most of the
This is
archetypes
not
have.
optional.
Yeah. So what's interesting is this guy has the kind of has a snipe hunter kind of effect.
Yeah.
So
Before resolving an opponent's card effect that targets this card. Okay, so Takiti. Actually, no, I don't think Takiti's. No, Takiti is a target. Never mind.
so roll a 6-sided die, negate the effect if you roll 1, 3, or 6, and if you do, destroy that card.
Yeah, so I mean, this stops. I mean, it doesn't stop Takiti, but it stops
Now,
Murmelo.
okay, so one could argue, oh well, this is like a weaker snipe hunter. Okay, yes, I will give you that because snipe hunter. Well, it depends because snipe hunter
No,
requires
I think
discard,
a
but this
2500
doesn't.
beater. Like, well, those are two different effects. Like, one is a weak card destroying cards, and this is a 2500 beater who's technically immune to cards. Those are just. I don't think you should really relate the two, to be honest. While it does have a similar
This
kind
is
of thing.
kind of between. By the way, this is Summon Skull, just so you know.
Yeah.
Like
Um.
I I do kind of like that they always like the little print like this is always treated as an Archfiend card. Like now he's actually part of an archetype.
Yeah. No, that was interesting.
So this card is it's kind of it's interesting. I give it a 3. I
I would probably say roughly 2.5.
because
I don't know
it
how
is
easy this is to summon though. I mean, it requires a tribute, and in the current Yu-Gi-Oh meta, like actually tribute summoning a card is difficult. The reason Red Eyes Black Dragon is relevant is because you bring it back with Spirit and Wyvern. The reason Takiti is relevant is because the cards you tribute typically come from your hand, or can be tributed the same turn that they are summoned. Like you summon Petite Angel, then you sack it off because the ritual card, ignores the normal summoning. So I'm just having trouble picturing this card actually getting out in a highly competitive game. But other than
I
that, its effect is good. I mean, you can't kill it with destruction effects, which is like a huge problem that Ancient Gears and Red Eyes have. Is that they could like Murmelows and Dakinis could just pop their cards. Although again, this card is immune to Dakini. I can't stress that effect enough because it doesn't target.
I think in this one we're seeing a lot of these cards that are able to negate like monster effects.
Uh huh.
So I think this is a way of saying we know Cyber Angels are kind of a problem, so we're kind of releasing these cards to kind of give you an edge or at least a chance. I think
Eh,
I think I'm kind of seeing that here
I
because
I mean, I would argue that we aren't just because none of these cards have the relative like the only way to make a card that counters unless the card hard counters, which they really don't. You need a card that's like on the same power level, and I previewed the whole box, and I don't see anything on Dakini's power level.
well no they don't want to directly counter Cyber Angels because Cyber Angels are Cyber Angels,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I would. I mean, I agree with it. I don't think that they should be releasing cards stronger, if not as strong as Cyber Angels. I
but
think they
I
need to work on slowing down the meta.
but I think this is kind of their way of saying we understand we're working on a way so that you're able to counter Cyber Angels without completely negating the whole thing.
Yeah. All right.
I
Well,
think
let's. Sorry,
yeah.
I just want to not run down time. Oh, here's the card I was thinking of, and I'm pretty sure you were too. A level 4 1900 beater who you can discard him to add a legendary ocean for your deck to your hand. This card is. I mean, honestly, I think this is just a good card in general. I want to give it 5 stars, but it's just not 5 stars prefer reserved for cards on Dakini's level, which obviously we probably will never see one in this expansion at least.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 4 as well, and I don't think we really need to spend too much time.
Yeah,
It's
no, 1900. It's um, the thing I do want to spend time on is so Archfiends, for example, they're kind of reliant on their field spell. Any deck that's reliant on its field spell needs a card that searches for the field spell because terraforming doesn't exist, and I'm glad terraforming doesn't exist to be honest. So cards like this are actually really good for decks that rely on their field spell. Obviously, you rely on Legendary Ocean, and this just improves it so much. So yeah, 4 stars. Do you want to say anything, or do you?
it's self-explanatory, really. I think.
Yeah, I agree. Mysterious Triangle. I like this card just because it's like that one Cloudian spell, but it doesn't require 3 counters. It's just 1 counter, and you also get to special summon. I don't know. Aliens are relatively weak. I don't know. For an alien card, I'm gonna give this 3 stars, which is probably the highest star you'll see an alien card get. What do you think? It's also quick play. Keep that in mind. So you could your opponent summons something. You could. I don't know how to get a counter on them quickly, but it's a quick play. It's flexible.
I'm I'm giving it a 2. Counters and duel links are just really hard to get
Yeah.
on and off.
Well, that's why I
So
like this card. Is it requires just 1 counter. Like that Clouded card required 3, but this requires just 1. So it's
but then another problem is like yeah, it's a quick play, so you special summon it like if your opponent's attacking, oh, I could destroy this one card, now you can attack this and it's like but then it's destroyed during the end phase. It's just you're just really nagging yourself. That's a problem I have. You're nagging yourself. Maybe
yeah.
good in aliens, but other than that, I just don't really
I
see
mean,
it.
you destroy a card and you mill a card out of your deck, so that's why I like it
Well, maybe if there's a card that puts 8 counters on your opponent's cards,
during their turn.
then yeah, I could probably give this like a 2.5, maybe a 3.
Yeah,
But as
there's
far as
actually
I
a few
know,
that put 8 counters. I
but
haven't
as
really
far
read them too much because aliens were a joke archetype back in the TCG. This is basically a 2.5 star card. Let's move on. Oh yeah, Power Breaker. This is just one of those cards that you'd probably play if you're a vanilla beatdown kind of deck. Obviously, it's not a vanilla card, but it would go into that category. Um, Basically, you can pop face-up spell or traps. It's a 1900 beater. Let's first start with that. It's a 1900 beater. Um, it's like Goblin Tech Squad where it gets changed to defense position, which is actually really crappy. Um, but you get to pop face-up spell traps, which are typically your opponent's field spells, which a lot of if you're running a beatdown deck, you're playing against other beatdown decks. So Sogin, Yami, the Dragon thing, Mountain, a lot of people, maybe even Legendary Ocean possibly. Um, you're at least the field spell gets popped, if not something like A Forces or some other weird continuous card that is being played at this rank. So I mean, I would say it's a 2 star card in terms of lower level play. What do you think?
I give this a two. You're not gonna get beyond maybe early gold if you're lucky, but this is not
Yeah, no, I don't see this being highly relevant.
because later on, field spells become irrelevant, and the fact that it's like if it just said target a target a spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it, and this card can't attack or it goes to defense, I would have been fine with that because I can just destroy econ, I can destroy wall disruption. But the fact that it's face up is just it it
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean,
stop.
if it was face down, I'd be like, wow, this is
It's
basically a better Lila. Well, not a better
it's
Lila.
you're not stopping anything that's not already going off.
Yeah, yeah.
So
All right. Well, Axe of Fools. This is um. I mean, bird decks aren't going to use this. The mass card that negates it from attacking,
Massey
and
the Accursed.
yeah, massively the accursed. That is so much better than this. This is probably used by an offensive person, but uh, even then, just run that Dragon Soul card. Like, well, I don't know. It's 1,000 attack. Actually, no, I can actually see a beatdown. I'm gonna give it two, just because I can see a beatdown deck using this. I mean, it's also not specific to archetype, so anybody can run this card. Burning themselves isn't that bad, to be honest, because if you're in control of the board, then you're probably gonna win very soon. So burning yourself isn't that much of an issue.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 2.5
Okay.
because I see this being played in decks that they whenever they lose life points they get some kind of card going or whatever,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and so I think it's an okay card. Probably not going to get that much play, but you'll probably see it
yeah.
on
No,
occasion.
I mean it's not as impactful as the cards you'd run in Cyber Angels or Glider Beast, but in a generic beatdown deck, this definitely has the potential to be played. All right. The Aqua Mirror itself. I just want to make sure I read this correctly. This card we use ritual summon a Gishki ritual monster. Should be. Uh, so basically, it's just a generic ritual card. It's not as good as the Cyber Angel ritual card, but it can recycle itself. I'm kind of iffy on that because I don't like making your deck thicker, but at the same time, with cards like Gishki Chain, you can search the Aqua Mirror a little bit easier. Um,
Yeah,
does it
what I
have to be? Sorry, one second. To target one Gishki ritual monster in your graveyard? Okay, I mean it's optional. I mean it's their primary ritual spell to summon Gishki cards, so they kind of have to play it. I'm gonna give it 3.5 just because it's not that great of a ritual spell, but it's still good. What do you think?
I I give it about the same because you're only going to play this in Gishkis, and it does give you
It's
that
not a
recyclability.
miracle con. It's not like miracle fusion or anything.
But it does give you a little bit of recyclability.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's okay. Not like Machine Angel Ritual level, but it's fair enough for Gishki. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's not much to be said. It's just a basic ritual card.
yeah,
Gishki Mind August. Oh crap, that has crap on it. Okay, let's see what this does. The ritual summons card with a Gishki ritual. Oh, they have to be summoned with the Gishki ritual spells too, so they can't use like generic. I don't think there's any generic water ritual spells, but when it's ritual summon, target up to 5 cards in any graveyard shuffle. This is actually kind of interesting. It's kind of like Soul Release, but not as strong. It's a 2,500 beater. Let's start with that. That's good. Um, Shuffling like cards you want to shuffle are the opponent's their Cyber Angel ritual spell, Machine Angel ritual, because you don't want it to defend their Cyber Angels, even though they could just search
yeah,
for it. You still don't want it in their
yeah,
graveyard. I don't. The cool thing I like about Duel Links is it's not one of those metas where your opponent's graveyard is a complete threat. Like in in the modern Yu-Gi-Oh meta, and then like for the past I don't know like 8 years, um, the opponent's graveyard has been a threat. So I see this being more of a tech card to be played during the times that the meta is graveyard reliant. Like there's also Red Eyes Black Dragon, which isn't really being played right now. You could target those. I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. It's a 2,500 beater that's easier to summon than the other guy that we saw. so maybe it gets some play.
I I'm giving it a 3. And
Okay.
that's because now see if this was, you target 5 cards, you know, and you just shuffle them back in, it's like that would have been a 2. But the
Okay.
fact that you can target up to means you don't have to choose 5 cards.
Oh yeah,
So
no.
let's look at like Red Eye Zombie Dragon because this is a deck that we have not mentioned, but this thing is a tier 1 threat as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what they like to do is
That's
they like
what
to
I was
get
actually referring to. Is that Red Eyes? Yeah, this card hits
so
Red Eyes, but the
they,
problem is Gladiator Beast.
they
You don't want to shuffle Gladiator Beast back into the deck. And then it gets
oh
up
no,
to.
absolutely not, absolutely not. But this is probably gonna be like a one of card in Gishkis.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
But they have Bacon Saver and Red Eye Zombie. You can put those back in there. Okay, there goes your strategy. Cyber Angels. If they have like Ben 10, 8 to 10, and then 2 of the ritual cards. Send those ritual cards back, and the 8 to 10 and Ben 10 stay there.
Yeah,
So I like the fact they're able to actually choose which cards. So that's why it's a 3. It's not any higher, not any lower. It's in this weird middle stage for me.
yeah. I think that's a good place to rate it. All right, next card, Archfiend Cavalry or Archfiend, how do you pronounce that? This card's face up on the field. Blah. And his face up card on the field is destroyed by a card effect to send to your graveyard. Target one Archfiend monster in your graveyard except Cavalry. Special summon it. It can attack this turn. It's just a solid beater for an Archfiend deck. That's sort of resilient. That is, where they can't use card effects. I mean, obviously Super Rush is the only thing, and typically it's probably going to get econned and ran over. But regardless, it's a 1900 beater.
Now,
So,
did hold on? Did Archfiend the King Archfiend dude Archfiend King the
uh
first
huh,
Lord of Horror?
uh huh.
Did he have an effect where he couldn't be special summoned?
Probably. Let's just look at him real quick. Is this him? No, this is not. Crap. Okay, I'm just gonna go through a couple of cards. Oh, here he is. You can also this card, but it's no. Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't have an effect like that. So yeah,
Okay,
you can
so
summon him.
you could probably
Uh,
have some like you could probably have like there's probably a card out there that says you can send one level 8 monster from your deck to the graveyard or something like that. So
oh, I just realized that Doomdog Ortho searches the Archfiend guy. I'm pretty sure he's level 8.
yeah, he's level 8. Yeah,
So yeah, the only reason I see this being played, I mean, I see that sword as a side effect. It's just a bonus effect. It's not really gonna get used. I just like the fact that it's level 4, 1900. Um, Archfiend, which I think the field spells targets Archfiend specifically. So yeah, it's just a good 1900. You could, you could tribute it. So I mean, I'm just gonna give it 2. It's kind of a solid card, but not. It's nothing special.
yeah, same here. I give it a 2.
All right. Citadel Whale. Is this level 7? Yes, it is. So this is a target for Legendary Fisherman. And this card is in your hand or graveyard. Tribute 2 water monsters, specifically from your field. Special summon this card. Um, you can only use this effect Citadel Whale. This says tribute 2. It has to be from the field, correct? I'm pretty sure.
E-
I know that ritual
yeah,
cards contribute from the hand, but I think it's just because it says send from your hand to the graveyard.
yeah,
Uh,
I think
anyways,
so.
so yeah, this has to come from the field. Special summon it, so it can come out of the graveyard. It's kind of like Machina Fortress, but a little bit weaker. Releases effect once per turn. If this card special summons, set one stealth attack directly for your deck. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Once per turn, your opponent activates a effect or card effect that targets
A
one
card
water
or
monster.
effect.
Yeah, sorry. And no other cards, it's a quick effect. Negate the activation, destroy it. So, once per turn, it's immune to Econ. Once per turn, it's immune to basically just Econ. I can't think of anything else that targets. Super Rush doesn't target. Wait, activates a card effect that target. Yeah, Super Rush doesn't target. Wall Disruption doesn't target. Well, there's a lot of cards that just don't target. It's immune to Econ. And Econ is super popular, super cheap, so it's not like you're losing anything. It's also kind of like Machina Fortress. The only problem I have with it is how easy is it to get 2 water monsters on the field? I
Well, I think
don't
it's
think that easy. I mean, there's that one spell we saw, the 2000 paid 2000, summon a bunch of things. That possibly can be used with this card.
I also think this is part of salvage because You would have the two water monsters. You tribute them to special summon this, and you use salvage to get them back to your hand.
Okay, yeah, I can see that kind of happening. Then again, but the only problem is the water monsters that you're using are probably 1800 or higher. Probably not. I mean, it's not guaranteed. Maybe there's some that are like kind of like Ra's disciple sort of effects that you use those. But the
Unless,
meta is in this place right now where you typically just run beaters or cards that support your beaters, like Petite Summer Angel. It searches something, but that's because it searches something. There's not many. Um, I just don't know what water cards actually search stuff.
the
Yeah,
only thing I can think of is
I was
I
gonna
I
give this.
can't I
I'm
kind
gonna
of
give
don't
this
want to
one and
give
a
this
half.
a I kind of don't want to give this one a rating yet because
There's a
of the
lot
fact
to
that it
think
has
about. Yeah, that's
because
true.
there's also C stealth attack, so I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
don't think that card's gonna be that good. Usually, specific name cards tend to be bad, but in fact, I think
I
Sea
mean
Self
I
Attack is the next one. Actually, let's just read this real quick before we rate the card. We'll go back and rate it. Once card's activated, target one Yuumi in your hand or graveyard while Yuumi's on the field. This face-up card gains these effects. Oh, it's a continuous card. Okay. Once returned, banish one water monster control until the end phase. Spell traps you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects, even if this card leaves the field. Um, Once per turn. So that's only during your turn. It doesn't say during your opponent's turn you can do that. At the start of the damage step, a water monster whose level is 5 or higher battles a post monster, destroy that monster. What? Wait. At the start of the damage step? Oh, wow. So it turns all of them into better Neospatian Grand Moles. Um, yeah, no, I didn't think. This card's really not that great because, while yes, that the second effect could be really good, um, it's just too, there's too much setup involved, and if you're playing the Legendary Fisherman number 2, along with other cards, you're basically just beating down your opponent. So there's no need for this level 5 or higher destroys the opponent's monster. Especially since I think the field spell is also going to reduce most of them to lower level. Although I guess the whale can still use it regardless.
I give both of these a 2. I think there's potential with them, especially in water decks. It's just like you said, there's a lot of setup that comes with it. So
Yeah. Plus, if you top deck this card, or it's not necessarily dead, but it's there's a game I played called Hearthstone, and if the viewers know what Hearthstone is, they know who Patches the Pirate is, and if you draw him, it's basically dead because the whole purpose is his effect is when you summon a pirate, he comes out of your deck, and so the whole purpose is just to use him to mill your deck. So drawing this card is like drawing him. People like there's like a meme saying, "Oh, I drew Patches, I lost." So it's like kind of like that in the sense where he this like you don't want to draw this card. You kind of want to set it with this effect, and it's just inconsistent. So even if you run Fortress Whale, I probably still wouldn't run this trap card.
yeah,
So I'm just gonna give the card like 1.5 because it is searchable by the Fisherman guy, and if you can flood the field with water monsters really easily, like every single turn, get at least 2 water monsters on the field, then maybe this card is useful. So yeah, that's that. Going Duotarian. I think this is the other. Yeah. So you can discard this card, add one bonding spell trap from your deck to your hand. If this card's normal summon or a special summon, you can target one Hydrogeddon, Oxygeddon, or Duotarian in your graveyard. Special summon it. Wait, this card's normal special summon. Special summon. You can only use this effect, so you can't chain his effect. This becomes a little. This makes that water dragon that we were talking about earlier a little bit better because number one, you get the search bonding spell or traps, which is really good. Um, you can also special summon one of the Oxygeddons, which I believe Oxygeddon is the guy who, when he attacks, you can summon another Oxygeddon.
mm,
So, um, oh, it's level 5 though. I just realized that. Eh, yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
know. It's
saying
level 5. I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars.
I give it a 2 because Rex decks are probably going to be able to abuse this some way.
Some way.
I,
um,
I, I, I say that with grain of salt because it's supposed to be like, oh, it's supposed to get out that water dragon
well, the thing
cluster.
is,
But
And
if we're being realistic about this, this is probably going to be in dinosaur decks. Let's be honest here. It's 2,000 attack. It becomes 2,300, and you can search out your Hydrogeddons, which is becoming more common. So uh,
yeah, and so one of my was discussions I've actually had on Reddit with someone else, well, with a lot of other people, is like, so when we see new cards, I review Hearthstone cards on Reddit, and when I see a card, someone says, this there's an OTK with this card, but the thing I say is, if you don't know how the OTK, if you can't think of the OTK, then the card probably doesn't have an OTK with it. Like, yes, it has potential to be an OTK if with enough thought, maybe, but it's like if you can't think of it off the top of your head, it probably isn't. There probably isn't an OTK with the card. So I just don't see. You claim that Rex decks could probably abuse it, but I just don't see how. I maybe with Big Evolution Pill, but I don't think that's in the game currently. Is it?
yeah, I would. Yeah, I think so.
It
I think you
probably
have to
is.
level up Rex. You have to level up Rex though. I think.
Yeah, but even then, it's still like I don't know. It's just too much setup. Uh, so I'm giving this 1.5. Let's move on. Call of the Archfiend. You target one level 5 or higher Fiend type monster graveyard, discard one Fiend monster, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Use. Wow. Wow. This is actually kind of good if you think about it, because that one guy that we were talking about earlier, the level 8 guy, he could be special summoned. We just read him a little bit ago. Um,
And
this
that's who's in the
basically turns
background.
every fiend into him. He destroys himself. Like, you normal summon him, he destroys himself, but then you use Call of the Archfiend. This card could actually bring Archfiends together. Um, yeah, there's not much to say about this. I'm gonna give this 3 stars because, I mean, it is a little slow, and if top decked, it doesn't have the immediate impact that I would like it to have. But if you could get it going and you have a stable field at the very least, this could be a strong card.
Yeah, I give it a 3.5 at most.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Archery Soldier, just a 1900 fade. Not much to say about him. He's good, but I mean, I like the other guy who had the side effect of if he's killed by a spell, you can summon back the Archfiend monsters from your graveyard.
Yeah, he's a 3.
I'd like to apologize to the viewers about the resolution. Some of these cards are really old, and there's no good images of them on the internet. Uh, I would actually, you know what? This is a good time to bring up. Let's try to get Konami to actually release images on their website that you can save of the Duel Links variants, because you can't save the Duel Links files as images, which would be really useful for reviewers like me and people. Well, I mean, I guess it's just reviewers that really get the use out of it, but still, it's just useful. I don't see a reason not to release a savable image file. Anyways, controller's part plays 900 life points, about 900. That's actually a lot of life points for Duel Links. When this card is targeted by the effect of a card controlled by opponent, after resolving the effect, roll a dice. If the result is 3, negate the effect, destroy opponent's monster battle damage. This card inflicts to your opponent is halved. Okay, so first of all, he only inflicts half damage. Like, yeah, he does have 2,000 attack, but there's already 1,900 attack Archfiend, so it's like, for 100 more to do less damage isn't that great. Plus, his effect is rolling a 3, like, that's such a specific number. I'm gonna give this, like, a 1.5. The only reason and a half is because his attack is high, but it's just not that great. What do you think?
I'm giving it the same as well, and I think he has that attack is halved. It reminds me of Susa Soldier, that spirit monster that has the same thing.
Uh huh.
But I think it's because like he's 2,000 for level 4, and usually when they have that much attack, they usually have some kind of backlash with
Oh
it.
yeah, no,
But even in Archfiends, no one's gonna play this.
yeah.
No one's gonna, especially 900.
I
Really,
mean,
like
assuming that you have the field spell in play,
but even
uh,
then, it's like 900 is such a weird value. Like
yeah,
it's like 500 or 1,000. Like why 900?
yeah. All right, we'll continue. Oh, hey, speaking of the field spell, here we go. This is the bread and butter of Archfiend monsters. Neither player has to pay life points during their standby phase for the Archfiend monsters, so it's a get out of jail free card. Your Archfiends are good. Each time a player's Archfiend monster is destroyed with battle and sent to the graveyard, except by battle, player could add an Archfiend from their deck to their hand that is lower level. So, um, you get free search more often than not, and it nullifies their what should I call it, their damage that you take, which is a good thing. I'm trying to think about this because Duel Links is a lot faster meta, right? Like it's definitely not the same as the TCG. Um, so is actually nullifying the life point cost of Archfiends that valuable in a game that will last no more than 10 turns? Probably even no more than 7 turns, to be honest.
Mm. Like when I'm reading this card, this is like this is like a mirror match made in heaven kind of deal
Yeah,
because it works for both players. And
yeah.
also, one effect I want to talk about real quick is, except by when he's destroyed by except by battle.
Oh, it's destroyed except by battle. Oh, I didn't even. I thought it was just destroyed. Oh,
Once again, I'm going back to that Archfiend King dude.
oh yeah, it's true. That's true. Oh, yeah, it's true. That's true.
So you normal summon him, you
You,
destroy a card, he pops himself, you get a search, you activate Call of the Archfiend, you get him back, and you have another Archfiend in your hand to pop again.
yeah.
Uh, uh,
Um,
Unless it's a once per turn. Was it a once per turn or
no,
no?
it's a normal summon, so you can't just keep summoning him if that's what you're thinking about.
Well, no, you normal summon,
Yeah.
pops himself, Call of the Archfiend, he comes
He also
back. That
pops
way you
himself
can
at the end
search.
phase. I believe it was like the end of the turn or something. So I mean, you can't just spam him, but you definitely get to
Um,
search basically any Archfade in
oh
your
yeah,
deck that's not level 8. So I can kind of see this working.
yeah.
Uh, there's also a
Most of the
card that works like that card, the legendary ocean guy we were talking about earlier. He will probably see him very soon. He searches your deck for Pandemonium, so it's
yeah.
not that hard of a field spell to use either. I'm gonna give this because of that. Now that you mentioned that you could probably use the guy himself to search for Archfiends, I think this card is roughly 3 stars. I mean, the life point thing I don't think matters in Duel Links because again the meta is so fast.
I give it a 4.
Okay.
It's really good in Archfiends, and there's a lot you can do. You got search
Yeah.
power, you got all
One
that.
thing I
But
Yeah, one thing I want to mention is that Archfiends can probably go without this card. There's probably going to be if Archfiend does become a viable archetype, there probably will be variants without this card. So yeah, this is roughly a 3.5 star card. Let's see here. Archfiend's Roar. I think I've seen this before in the TCG. Pay 5 life points to target one Archfiend monster in your graveyard, special summon the target. It cannot be tributed, destroy it during the end phase this turn. I like that continuous card better, but at the same time, this card doesn't rely on you discarding cards.
yeah, once I'm gonna keep bringing him up because it's whatever.
Also, this card,
But
the big guy.
yeah, because pretty much at when we saw him, because he has that effect, he's just abusable in Archfiends. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
A lot of these cards you can just abuse him. So it's like,
yeah.
um, but I
And
think
he can
this is
actually
a
attack with his 3,000 attack if summoned by this effect.
yeah. I think it's an okay card.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll give it 2.5. I mean, I think there's already enough cards to abuse it. You don't need to go overkill with the abuse of a card.
yeah, I'm giving it 2.5 as well.
Yeah. But I like that this is life points instead of discarding a card, but I don't know. I like the continuous card a little bit more. Alien Warrior.
Here we go. We're now getting to the aliens.
Yeah. Ways to destroy a battle sets in the graveyard. Place 2 8 counters on a monster that destroys cards. So there you go. You have a target for triangle now. If a monster with an 8 counter battles an alien monster, it loses 300 attack and defense for each 8 counter during damage calculation. So this is obviously, huh. Actually, this isn't very obvious. It's in parentheses.
So okay, what do they mean by that is it has the field spell effect of the world liaison because
Oh, okay. So
it has the
it's only
exact
while
same
he's face up
effect.
on the field, though, right? That triggers.
Battles an alien monster. Well, the
Yeah,
field spell
I assume that's only going
emphasis.
to trigger while he's face up on the field. I mean, they put it in parentheses like it's you know how like archfiends have in parentheses as a tree as an archfiend monster. I mean that triggers even when they're in the graveyard. Uh,
Yeah,
so it reminds me of that, but I don't. But this card's so old that I don't think that that's what they're intending with its
I th-
effect.
I I think they're just put in here to remind you, like, this is what A counters do.
No, well, I think that the alien actually triggers that effect. Let's just assume, okay, for the sake of the review, let's just assume that he triggers that effect while he's face up on the field. Even though they put it on the card really terribly, but again, this is an old card. They didn't care too much about being specific in the old days. I mean, that's why we have so many freaking OCG, TCG conflicts with the card ruling.
But
Um,
I'm giving this a two.
it's an 1800. Well, okay, it's an 1800 beater that with the field spell in play can reduce their attack by a lot. Plus, it spreads A counters. So, you said this was a two. I'm gonna say it's a three. I mean, it's probably one of the better alien monsters that you actually just use.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, aliens are just kind of
Yeah, no,
aliens
I
are
mean they're not that great of an
aliens are
archetype.
aliens are just so far from mess, not even funny, even in Duel Links.
Yeah. Well, actually, well that's the thing about Duel Links is I hope Duel Links actually gives them a fighting chance to be in at least tier I don't know 4 maybe 3 ish archetype. I hope. That's my hope because I mean I like seeing archetypes have a fighting chance. Okay. Select one monster with at least one A counter on your opponent's side of the field. Take control of that monster during each of your end phases. Remove one A counter from that control monster. If all A counters are removed, monster that monster is destroyed. Destroy this card. So basically, it's enemy controller, but for monsters that have A counters on them, and it can last a little bit longer. This is a
Well,
tough card to think about. The thing that makes it tough is it's not a quick play spell, but rather a continuous trap.
for
Uh,
me, okay, because of this card, I'm gonna give this one a three, but I also bump up my thought of Alien Warrior to three because I didn't know what this card did, but
but
it seemed, it, but because of the fact that this, I mean, yeah, it's really slow, but that effect can't really be power crept all that much.
yeah.
So I'm giving it a solid three. That's a solid effect. I don't know how often you're gonna be able to pull it off, but
Well, if due to the nature of most alien cards, you're spreading A counters pretty quickly, so
and even then, it's like you're probably not gonna have it 2 turns. You're probably gonna take it, tribute it for something else, or do something else with it. So
yeah. I'm gonna give this 2.5. The only problem I have with it is it's a trap that's a little slow. You want to be a little bit more impactful than that, but if you can set up and get to it, then it is pretty strong. Anyways, Captain Gold. Searches for Skyscraper, and if you have Skyscraper, you can just normal summon it as a 24. The problem I have with this is that E-Heroes are a fusion archetype. Yes, they can use Skyscraper, but um, it's just this card doesn't support you fusion summoning. Yes, there's that the Neos beatdown. But even then, you wouldn't use Skyscraper in that deck. It's just I don't know. Heroes have too much utility that never really gets used, to be honest. So I'm giving this a 1.5 star rating. It's just too much utility that you're never really gonna play with or use. So what do you think?
for me, my problem with this, I'm giving this a two. It's probably the strongest hero monster that elemental heroes are gonna get that don't require tribute summon. But if you look at it, it's like oh, you can discard it to add a skyscraper. So that forces you to play more than one of him. But do you really want to do that? I don't think so. Because he's and then on
Yeah.
top of that, if skyscraper is not face up on the field, destroy the card. So unless you're gonna level up Jaden to like super high level, which I really doubt because there's almost no benefit to it, you're gonna take like 2,000 life points of damage or something like that to get skyscraper on the field because of his skill.
Uh huh.
It's just like that's way too much setup. It's an okay card, but I
Well,
think
I
there's just
mean,
way too much setup
yeah,
required to really utilize it.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, he's better than most of those cards, like that legendary ocean, in theory. But it's just he doesn't synergize with E heroes that well. Like I don't know what kind of E hero deck would really run this. Even Beatdown doesn't want to run this because they don't want to run Skyscraper. They just want to, excuse me, get in there and start hitting you. So yeah, two-ish star card. A cell breeding device during your standby phase. Put one A count face up monsters your opponent controls on a face up monster your opponent controls. So while yes, it does have consistent A counters that come out, I feel like it's a little slow because it wastes a slot in your deck. It wastes a draw. Like you could have drawn better stuff than this. So while yes, you do get consistent A counters, I don't like that the card is just that's all it does. It's just kind of a waste. So I'm gonna say 1 star.
I'm giving this a two. It does give you the 8 counter, but like you said, it, I'm just gonna say this right now. More often than not, the aliens are gonna be either two, mostly 2 or 3 for me. This is gonna be a two because of the fact that unless aliens have a way of searching this out, it's a dead card if you draw it right away or you draw it too late, and it's just
Yeah,
too much. And it's a
yeah,
continuous spell too, so that's another thing.
yeah. All right, Archery General. Oh, this guy was talking about. So, I forgot that he was 2100. So he's basically Captain Gold. uh, in fact, he's probably better than Captain Gold because Archfiends actually want to play with their field spell, and they actually do want cards like this. So I would say he's 3.5 stars.
I give him about a 4.
Yeah, I was thinking he's basically. Oh crap! No, I thought I locked that. 1 second. I thought I locked that.
He
Okay.
he's a 4 because, yeah, like you said, he is a better Captain Gold because Archfiends, they want to play with their field spell and he can search it out, and you're probably gonna play 3 of him.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. At least 2, because you want to send one to maybe search out the field spell, and then you get another one because he's 2100 attack. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, his stats are really good. All right. Enough said. Here. This is just a 1900 beater for aliens. It doesn't constitute to the A cell strategy, so I don't think you'll be playing him in an alien deck. If you're playing him in a reptile beatdown deck, which I don't think exists, you probably would. But other than that, nothing. That was a 1 star card. Let's just move on. Here, you take the reins here. I'm gonna check the time real quick.
I I
Okay.
I would have given that alien card a 2, but
All right. We'll just give him stars real quick. If you run beatdown, yeah, he's 2. But most of the time, you're not gonna do that. Okay. Anyways, crap. Where's the other card? There we go. So telepath. No. Let me select the telepath. Okay. So once returned, you can remove 1 A counter from an opponent's monster, destroy 1 spell trap card. If a monster battle, if it counters, it loses 3 attack and defense for each A counter. So, you can destroy spell or traps of him by popping A counters. This guy is actually aliens are a lot better than Cloudians, to be honest.
yeah, I think they wanted already. This is gonna be a 2. It's okay. Like I said, I think
I give
aliens
it
are
a 3, to be honest, because I mean, popping spell and traps is a good effect. You're blowing up.
yeah, but once again, there's not really that many cards that get 8 counters on the field,
Yeah.
other than A Cell Breeding
Oh
Device
yeah,
and
it's not as
Alien
fast.
Warrior.
Yeah, actually no. I'm gonna go back to 2.5 because I just remembered it's not as fast as cards that are like, discard a card, pop a spell trap or something.
Yeah,
So yeah.
we're still recording, right?
Yeah, I am. Okay.
All right, making
Uh
sure. All right, now I actually have this card in real life.
oh really?
Yeah, but I never really could get it off because, like I said, I don't really play Archfiends all that much. But so during each standby phase, you must pay 1,000 life points. This is not optional, or this card is destroyed. During your standby phase, target one level 4 lower feat type monster on the field. That target gains 1,000 attack until the end phase. Pandemonium must be on the field, and this card must be in your graveyard to activate as a result
Uh
of this effect.
I'm gonna say 1 star. It's it requires too many tributes. It's too slow. It doesn't actually impact the field. Like yeah, you can buff a level 4 lower feed, but you're probably not gonna have a level 4 lower feed the turn that you summon this card. I don't know, it just requires too many tributes and it's not like the other guy who can just come out and start popping stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say 1 star.
Yeah, I give it a 1. It's not worth it.
Okay.
Not worth the effort.
Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, whoops, sorry. We're gonna try to speed up this a little bit just to finish because I wanted to finish all the Eva Gishki ritual monsters before we finish the first half of the video. Anyways, remove 2 A counters from anywhere on the field to special summon this card. So it's already a 2200 beater and A counters are like, well, yes, there's very few cards that give them. They usually give them in multiples of 2. So this card basically could just come out. Let's return place an A counter each face that monster opponent controls, which is already probably one or two A counters. Um, if a monster with A counter, so we all know that they're going to reduce their attack for A counters. You can only have one Alien Overlord, but you probably are only going to need one at a time anyways. So I think it's a. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's kind of a solid card if you could get. Actually, no, I'll go back to 2.5. If you could get the A counters going, then this is a good card. Otherwise, this isn't doing anything.
Yeah, I give it about the same rank.
Okay. Spy Gilman, he starts at 1700 attack, I believe. Yes, Sea Serpent, and he buffs other Sea Serpents. The only problem I have is he's not super impactful. Like he doesn't search cards. He doesn't just get in there. But he does have 1700 base attack. I'm gonna give him 2.5. I can see him maybe seeing some play in some sort of Mako Tsunami Legendary Ocean deck. What do you think?
Yeah, same here. It's kind of the deal with Starboy. So, I mean, if you wouldn't play Starboy, you probably wouldn't play this. But
Yeah.
it's an okay.
All right. Arm Sea Hunter. Um, after battle, calculation will affect monster, including in the graveyard. If you must control a water type monster to activate. So, um, he stops searchers like Doomdog Orthos, which isn't really that popular right now, but may become popular for Archfiends.
Legion Fiend Jester.
Legion Fiend, yeah, Legion Fiend Jester, the Blue Dragon Summoner. Yeah, he stops searchers. He also, speaking of which, he also stops Gladiator Beast if what should we call it? What's that card called? Impenetrable Attack. If they activate Impenetrable Attack, then he negates its effect. Also, he could crash him into stuff to negate monsters' effects. So if you have a level 3 or lower water monster like that Spine Gilman from earlier, then you can crash him into stuff and he'll survive because you tributed the level 3 or lower water monster. So I like the fact that he can control the effects of the opponent's monsters. I say if he does get run, he's run at like 1 or 2 to make a tsunami deck, and even then, maybe not. I mean, he has good. He's kind of like an effect veiler or ghost ogre kind of, where he does have utility, but he doesn't by himself. He doesn't have that much impact. Also, the fact that you need to control 2 water monsters make him a little slow, so I'm just gonna say he's roughly 2 stars.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Dark Ruler Hades a little bit because
Uh-huh.
he had the same thing where if he destroys a monster by battle, they can't activate their effects.
Yeah, the problem is Dark Ruler. He gets that effect as soon as he comes out, whereas this card you need to have water monsters on the field to activate that effect.
Yeah, so this guy's about 2. There's probably gonna be a deck that plays him, but
Yeah, he might be
it's just
played
a little
as
tricky.
utility. Yeah. Okay, continuing on. Despair Uranus. Okay then.
I've never even
Uh,
seen this card.
I've never seen it either. It looks like something that'll be released in a tin. When this card is tribute summoned while you control no spell or trap cards, you can activate its effect. Your opponent declares either a continuous spell or continuous trap. Then you set 1 card of that type directly from your deck. This card gains 300 attack for each face-up spell or trap you control. Face up. So first of all, it requires 2 tributes. There's no quick way to summon it. Second of all, that effect is really niche. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna give him 1 star. I just don't see him. It's just hard to summon to begin with. That's the first thing I hate. I just don't like cards that require 2 tributes unless they have a way of
It
quickly
kind
coming
of
out.
it kind of reminds me of, let's see here. I think it was Uria,
Uh huh.
Lord of Searing Flames. He kind of has the same effect.
Oh, that card.
Well, not the same effect, but he has to get on the field with continuous spells, I believe, or traps. Yeah,
Uh huh.
traps. And it's like there's not very many good ones in there.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean,
Your opponent's probably
this
gonna
is,
select spell, and if you don't have it in your deck, then if they choose the one that you happen to not be playing, then you get nothing. You get no benefit from that.
I mean, if Fairy Box was in this game, then maybe, but no, this card's a 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yay, an Ivagashi. Tetra Ogre. Not Soul Ogre, but close. Let's return, declare 1 card type monster spell trap. Your opponent can discard card with. I'm sorry. Your opponent can discard 1 card to negate this card's effect. Otherwise, both players send 1 card of the declared type from their main deck to the graveyard. Eh, I mean, what are you milling? To be honest, what are you trying to mill? If you mill a monster, then you can give the opponent the opportunity to mill a bacon saver, or just make their deck more consistent. You know. Uh,
Yeah, this sounds like a weaker Vampire Grace because Vampire
yeah.
Grace has the same one where you declare one and your opponent, sends that to the graveyard.
Uh huh.
So, but that one can't be negated. You can't negate that one. This one they can, and pretty much they could. This really is weak against zombies because zombies love to mill. So it's like,
Yeah. Um, it's 2600, so it's 100 better than that last card we looked at. But I still think he would actually run that last card over this guy. So
yeah,
yeah.
I don't honestly, I give it a 2,
Yeah. Same
but
here.
no more.
I hate this card so much. I really don't. I mean, I know that the Gishki ritual monsters. So quick rundown. It's a normal ritual summon, but from the field, so nothing in your hand can be tributed, and its attack is halved, and you can't conduct your battle phase at the same time. So it's just a bad, and it gets destroyed. Wait, does it get destroyed? Oh, does it get destroyed at the end phase, which is okay, but even then, you'd really just use this for the effect of a Gishki monster. But um, I don't see any effects that you really want, especially since you can't conduct your battle phase. The big guy can't even use his effect. So I'm just giving this 1 star.
Yeah, this is
If Soul
trash.
Ogre existed, maybe, but even then, I think like the regular ritual spell by itself is consistent enough. Gishki Beast, it's Blackwing Blizzard of Far North. Use normal summon him, target a level 4 or lower Gishki in your graveyard, special summon it. This can work with that Fortress Whale we were reviewing earlier, where you can summon him, summon a water type Gishki, and then pop them to summon the Fortress Whale. But even then, it's like, maybe if you build a deck specific enough, but let's ignore that for now. Basically, this just guarantees an instant ritual summon, essentially, if you have the ritual spell in your hand.
Yeah,
So I give this a 4 star. Yeah, it's 4 stars. I mean, it's basically an instant ritual summon.
yeah, I agree.
Damage diet. Have all damage you take this turn. No one cares. That's not. It's not giving you board control. It's not cycling cards. It's just. It has no. It has no impact. So no one cares about taking reduced damage. Banish this card to remove effect damage. Even more useless than its first effect. I would say 1 star.
1.5.
All right.
That's being generous, really.
That is. Gishki Advance, not really that great to be honest. Choose one Gishki monster for your deck, place it on top of your deck. This is slower than just searching. I like Chain a lot better. Uh, yeah, Chain is just so much better than this card. I would say it's 1.5.
I
Like
give
maybe,
I
huh?
I give it a 2. I give it a 2 if you're absolutely desperate.
Yeah, but oh, speaking of which, Gishki Amelia, I think it's either Amelia or Ariel. It's the flip one that searches. There's already a searcher in the game. If you did the Water Tower event, I hope they bring back that Water Tower event because that's the whole reason Gishkis are going to be relevant. Okay, anyways, Gishki Cyclone. Uh, Ritual summon this card. Declare one monster type and attribute. Look at one random card opponent's hand. If it's a monster of the declared type and attribute, shuffle it into the deck. Oh, this is actually really good to be honest because um, your opponent's playing Ancient Gear. You just say Earth Machine, right? So, Cyber Angel, Light Fairy. You can actually this card basically mills their hand because the only types of decks this is going to have trouble against is like Gladiator Beast because you have to target something specific. Because they have Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, Fish, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I give this a 4 star card. It mills the deck. Plus, it's only level 4. So like, if you're desperate to bring out a ritual monster, that's not, just if you're desperate to bring out a ritual monster, this is easier to bring out uh, than the other rituals because you just need one monster in most scenarios. So I would say this is 4 star. It's a quick 2150 beater, which isn't that great, but it's better than nothing, and you get to mill a card for your opponent's hand almost guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree. I give it 4.
You can also Spear Creamo is Light Fairy or Light Fiend, or is it Dark Fiend,
It's
or is it
it's
Dark
a dark
Fairy?
fiend.
Dark
Dark
Fiend.
fiend.
So yeah, you can also if you want to go for game, then you can try to get rid of those Spear Creamos that your opponent possibly has in their hands. So it gives you the opportunity to play around Spear Creamo. Um, Once while this card is in the graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Then, if it's a water monster, special summon this card from the graveyard. Um, it special summons itself from the graveyard, which is kind of cool. You can use it for tribute summons. The only problem is the card you mill has to be a water monster, which you could skew your deck to favor results. But it's still an RNG effect. You mill your
Two.
deck regardless, which can be useful.
It's
Eh,
two.
I would say it's a 2.5. Like it can be used sort of like a totem dragon ish thing. What do you think?
I give this a two.
Okay.
It's just it's too RNG to really
Yeah.
be that
Again,
great.
Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those games where you can skew your RNG. Okay, we're almost done with this review. Or with this half of the review, that is. Okay, 100-footed horror. If your opponent controls a monster, and you control no monsters, normal summon it without tributing, but its original attack becomes basically half of what it is.
Two.
I say
Just
one for now because I don't know why. I don't know why the current meta you need was this level 7, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't know why the current meta you need a level 7
oh wait,
monster.
to level seven.
It looks like it's level 7. Yeah, it's level 7.
Okay, bring it to one. That's garbage. 2600 for level seven.
No, well the thing I was gonna say is if Xyz was in the meta or even Synchro, to be honest, I think this card would be okay. But they aren't in the meta, so the current meta is just a 1-star card. You're literally getting no advantage from normal summoning a 1300 monster that's level 7. There's
Dark
just no
magician.
advantage.
Dark magician is the same level. It's a vanilla. Has 100 less attack, but is so much better.
Yeah. Mistaken Arrest. Actually, I like this card. Until the end of your next turn after this card resolves, the new player could add cards to their deck to their hand. It's a what should I call it? A tech card. It's a tech card for Cyber Angels, and that's literally it. Um, the thing I hate about tech cards in Duel Links is you don't have a sideboard to use, so you can't unless you know exactly that you're going to be playing against Cyber Angels all the time. This card isn't that great, but it's a tech card, and tech cards are good regardless of whether or not they're actually being played in the main deck or not. So
I give it about three.
yeah, and during a meta where everybody's searching, which Gishkis will also be searching, by the way, if for those
Yeah.
people who played during the Water Tower event. So yeah, it's a 3. It's a tech card. Um, and then A cell recombination device. Holy crap! Turn one face-up monster on the field. Send one alien monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you mill from decks, which is pretty good. If you do place A counters on that monster equal to the level the monster sent, so you can send your high level stuff, dump a bunch of A counters. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one alien monster from your deck to your hand. During main phase, except the turn this card was sent. So, it searches aliens. It puts a bunch of 8 counters on the field. I think this is actually good. It mills your deck. I actually like this card. This is probably one of the better alien cards, to be honest. I would say 3.5. Like I don't want to give it 4 because it's not that great, but
Yeah, I give it about a three. 3.5 because it is quick play. So
and it could during the next turn you get to search an alien from your deck. So it provides search, it dumps 8 counters, it provides mill. It does all kinds of stuff that's actually good. All right, so that is basically it for today's review. We'll be releasing the second one at a later date that has the rest of the normal cards. You probably won't care about this one. We just wanted to get the review that has all the cards that people actually care about, such as the URs, the SRs, and stuff, and a majority of the archetypes that are being played. So, big. Uh, there were a couple tech cards, like the card we reviewed a few minutes ago, Mistaken Arrest. You'd probably tech into your deck. Other than that, there was actually no staples released in this expansion. Uh, there's a lot of good water support, obviously. So, if you want to make a legendary ocean deck, there's that. There's Gishki decks, Archfiends, and aliens. So, those archetypes, Gishki is probably the only archetype out of the ones listed that will be at least tier 3, maybe borderline onto 2. Other than that, these archetypes aren't really going to change the game too much. They don't change that Cyber Angels are going to be dominant. They don't change that Gladiator Beasts are going to be really good. Um, so in terms of viability in the meta, the this expansion does not change that at all, but it does add a lot of fun toys to play with until we wait for them to fix the Cyber Angel issue. So yeah, any closing remarks, Mr. Geist?
So far, I am impressed with this box, much better than the last box they released.
Uh
I
huh.
do, I do think that I do think Gishkis are going to get some play. They seem fairly fun. Archfiends seem like a lot of fun. After looking at them,
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go ahead and pass on the aliens. They just seem like I don't know. To me, they're kind of like psychics. They're cool, but I'm just not really that interested.
Uh huh. Okay.
But, but overall, good box. I think people should invest in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.